Hello and welcome back to Catching Flies Wrestling Podcast. We're starting this week's show off a little different, as some of you may have heard some tough news in the wrestling world. Former NWO mega superstar Konnan, and some tough news. He came out on his show and said that he's going to need a kidney, and it's pretty serious. He's been struggling the last couple weeks, so here at the Catching Flies Wrestling Podcast, we just wanted to wish him the best, give him our thoughts and prayers, and hope for a better future for Konnan and for all K100. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Catching Flies Wrestling Podcast. I am Stephen Burton. Joining me as always, he is an author, an actor, has a master's degree, and is the teacher of our youth, Pete Makadis.
Hey, what's up, folks? Thank you, Stephen, for yet another great intro. God, that's just if I'm feeling down, all I got to do is record an episode of this show, and Stephen gets my spirits right up in the air. So we are back today, our first Saturday show, as we're looking to branch out potentially. But in the meantime, this is a Survivor Series preview show. We have the pay-per-view coming on later this evening. And we did a brief preview of it on our previous episode 3. We didn't have the entire card in place. We had the matches, but we were missing one component in the women's WarGames match, and we'll get to that. But we didn't dive into it. We didn't really make our predictions thinking what might happen, who will win, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So with that in mind, let's just go ahead and hop right in. The first match we're going to look at in this Survivor Series is for the United States Championship. We have our defending champion, Seth freaking Rollins, will be defending the title in a triple threat match. His two opponents, Bobby Lashley and Austin Theory. What you got for us?
I think this might be Austin Theory's time to shine. I think he's really gotten over the last couple weeks, kicking ass and taking names, and I think that might shock us and bring the future to us now with Theory.
I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Theory, we're so happy that he was able to bounce back. I mean, we mentioned this when it first happened. It looked like a partial, at least, burial when he lost his money in the bank briefcase. But man, they didn't take but a week or two to completely rehabilitate him. I think that was the plan from the beginning, to tear him down, just to build him back up. It worked. Does he need the title to consolidate that? It would help. Is the title good with Seth Rollins? Sure. As great as Bobby Lashley is, and this is no disrespect to Seth Rollins, to Austin Theory, or to the U.S. title, but I think he's kind of a step above the U.S. title. I don't see him walking out with the title. I also don't see him taking the fall. So it's Lashley is going to be an attraction in this match, as he always is. But it's essentially boiling down to one-on-one between Theory and Rollins. Who do we think gets the win there? I believe Rollins will retain. I think Theory is going to look good in defeat. I think Lashley might cost him the match, in a manner of speaking. It's going to be one of those situations where Lashley hits the big move and Rollins sneaks in to steal the pin. We do see that a lot in triple threat, 4-way, 5-way, whatever matches. It's not overused yet. Nothing we're going to complain about yet. It could become a problem eventually, similar to other like last man standing type matches endings that I've billowed about a little bit here in the past. But I'm going to say that Seth Rollins retains. All three guys are going to come out of the match looking better. My question is, I'm asking this question to myself. If we believe Cody Rhodes is going to come back and jump right back into a feud with Seth Rollins, does the U.S. title need to be involved in that feud? I don't necessarily think so. So I don't see Rollins holding the title for too long, but I think he emerges tonight as the champion.
You said it best. I think I think he's above that title. And I think it's time for Seth Rollins to get back into the heavyweight championship contendership. And that's shedding the U.S. title. Let it be carried by Lashley or help create slash build Theory up. And time to move on for me.
So who's your pick for tonight?
Oh, pick for the match is
Yeah,
definitely Theory.
you're picking Theory. All right, so
I can I can go with Theory, or I could see in my head for some reason I just had a flash of triple threat, no DQ, Lashley just going nuts and destroying everything and walking out with the belt.
yeah.
I can see either, but I just think they're going to take it off Rollins, and he probably won't be involved in the pin, and that way they can elevate him even more.
So Steven and I, every now and then, we're not going to necessarily agree on certain
Just
things. That's why we're both on the show to offer you each an interesting perspective. Sometimes we're going to agree. And, Steven and I didn't just meet last week. We've known each other for a little while now. We've talked
right.
wrestling before. We're on the same page quite a bit, but not always. And it's fun to
We
disagree
can
sometimes.
Yeah, we can disagree and
Yeah.
still both be wrong. That's the
And we
great
can
thing
still both
about
be in this
wrestling.
case, we can
That's the
still both
best
be
thing
wrong.
about it.
Yeah. Oh boy. Each of us has an ex-wife. We know this. We know this situation very well. Okay.
uh,
The next match on the show, and we're gonna try to dedicate some time to this match, discussing it, even though I think the outcome is considered a foregone conclusion. But we have Rowdy Ronda Rousey is going to be defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against the up and coming Shotzi. See, on paper, this is a mismatch, eh? To say the least.
yeah, yes, to say the very, very least. I don't see how there's any possible way, especially with Shayna involved in the storyline they've given us, that Shotzi would win this. I think it would take a call on the fly injury spot to happen for something would have to go really wrong. I feel like for Shotzi to win this match. Um, Maybe if Jesus comes back to Earth today, or I don't know, small miracle. But outside of that happening, I don't think she's got much of a chance.
No, it seems like a placeholder feud, and I hate using that terminology because it seems dismissive of the person in the feud, but it gives that person a chance to really shine. I think Shotzi's gonna lose clearly. I can't imagine them taking the belt off of Ronda and putting it on Shotzi. Again, no diss to Shotzi. I think she's up and coming. I think she's got a lot of talent and a great future. Um,
As do I.
this is her chance to at least shine a little bit. I hope they have a decently length match. It doesn't need to go 30 minutes, obviously, but I prefer it not to be like sub 3 minutes
Two,
either. Yeah.
right?
Give Shotzi some offense. Let the crowd even have this tiniest inkling that she could pull off a massive upset. Even yesterday on SmackDown, Wade Barrett, he's English, so he's a soccer fan. He's watching the World Cup. He mentioned the two major upsets that happened in the World Cup: Saudi Arabia, Argentina, which we discussed on our last show. And since that's happened, Japan has beaten Germany. The commentary can get into that. It can steer into that. Maybe by the time some uh, Survivor Series comes on tonight, we have some upsets in college football today. They can reference those. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to just give you that feeling. And of course, it's going to get snuffed out because that's the way this story is going to go. That's the way the story should go. Any
Sure.
story can be told, any story can be rearranged, but it needs to be settled in some sort of reality. And Shotzi to knock off Ronda Rousey today in a properly executed wrestling match. It's not like a Money in the Bank cash in or anything. It's one on one, bell to bell. They can't tell that story. So Ronda's gonna
No.
win. Ronda's gonna
Yeah.
win. Uh, Try to get that heel character a little bit more over. Try to make Shotzi look good. The point of this match isn't who wins and loses. The point of it is how they come out after.
Bully Ray says it best on Busted Open on radio on Sirius XM all the time, which gives them a listen if you're a wrestling fan. They're one of the best. This is Shotzi's chance to get over.
Yeah.
She's not going over, but she can still get over massively. If she comes out and has a bomb ass match and surprises some people, maybe even gets a few moves in, inside cradle, backslide type, near fall moves, if she shows out, she could help herself a lot tonight. I feel like, and because she's been given a big opportunity. No one thinks she's going to win the match really, but she's still on one of the big four in my eyes pay-per-views, especially for the WWE, or maybe big five if you include Saudi now. And you're given a singles match on one of those big pay-per-views. That's a big deal. So they have to at least believe in her a little bit, I would imagine, they being the WWE. But I think this is her chance tonight to get over with the crowd, or even more so, you know.
Right, and not just a singles match, and not just a title match. It's Ronda freaking Rousey, you know,
Right,
who,
right.
we've said this before. We'll say it again. Could potentially be the biggest female athlete on the planet. So
Yeah, yeah. Star
name
wise,
wise,
star
yeah, star
power,
wise,
name
absolutely.
wise. Yeah,
So I'm looking forward to the match. I'd like to see how it executes. It's kind of like knowing how a movie's going to end, but you have no idea how they're going to get there. You're still going to watch if it's entertaining.
right.
So that's where we stand on that. Good luck to Shotzi. We got good hopes about her in her future.
Yeah, I got nothing really bad to say
No,
about her. I just think she's gonna be a human sacrifice tonight.
yeah, unfortunately, but okay. Next up is the only other singles match that has been announced for the card. Um,
Isn't
you
that
have
crazy?
a proxy battle between the OC and the Judgment Day, and I think perhaps in a normal year this would have been a Survivor Series match. But you have representing the OC is AJ Styles, representing the Judgment Day is Finn Balor. A lot of history between these two guys, going back to before either of them were ever in WWE. And I believe they had one pay per view match. I think Bray Wyatt was supposed to take on one of these two guys, and he wound up not being ready for that match. And they had this, I think AJ Styles substituted, something like that. My memory is hazy on this one. But they had a pay per view match, and as you would expect, it was good. And we would expect this match to be good. But picking a winner is a little tricky. You want me to take this one first, or you want to dive in on this one first?
Yeah, lead us off, man.
Okay. So the Judgment Day has been building up a tremendous amount of momentum, and they had a little bit on SmackDown last night where Dominic and Rhea
Love
Ripley went
this.
over to Rey Mysterio's house on Thanksgiving and effed things up a little bit. They need to keep that momentum going. I think it doesn't have to be perfectly clean. The Judgment Day is a heel faction. If they need to do some shenanigans, even something simple as AJ Styles hitting the rope and one of them grabs his foot, uh, those kind of shenanigans that can get a little brawl going on the outside, and that's where Finn Balor would steal a win. AJ Styles lost a one-on-one match to Dominic Mysterio about a month ago. No one seems to remember that for one main reason. He's AJ Styles. He can get away
Yeah.
with losing matches like that, especially if there's some shenanigans involved. I love that word, by the way. I'm going to try to use it one more time. Shenanigans. Anyway, AJ can take the loss, especially if it's set up in such a way where it's not perfectly clean. Then again, his opponent is Finn Balor, and Finn Balor has all the credentials in the world that you would want. Even if he lost clean to Finn Balor, that would be fine. I don't think he will, but I'm going to pick Finn Balor to win this match.
I think it's a very, very good pick. I loved what they did with Thanksgiving. Rhea and Dominic went to the house, beat up old Papa Ray there, and told him what they were thankful for while doing so.
Right?
I
Great
just
heel work.
WWE, yeah, WWE doesn't really do too many like that anymore. So I thought it was unique. It was really well done, and I really enjoyed that. Thought it gave us another aspect. They're really pushing the narrative that Rhea seems to be the dominatrix or the dominant
The
gr- uh
Dominicator.
yeah, right.
We're trying to combine Dominate
Basically
and Dominic. It's getting
Dominic's
tricky.
mama. Yeah, right. I got a little tongue tied there and trying to think of the word, but basically Rhea's running the show.
Yeah.
Which furthered my point from a few weeks ago that I think she's secretly in charge of this group. Maybe that's still wrong, but they're really pushing their relationship to the forefront of that group. And I hope Priest doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because I think he has a huge upside as well. But I love what they've done with this group. This match has me super interested. I just got a feeling that AJ is going to win. Give the fans a happy babyface moment. Um, a loss doesn't hurt either
Nope.
side. I just I just personally think I think they're going to give one to the good guys today.
All right. And just to piggyback off a couple of points you made, you're right about Priest, and it seems like they're giving him a lot of mic time, keep him in the mind's eye. And on commentary yesterday, Michael Cole, looking straight down the camera, did refer to Rhea Ripley as Dominic's girlfriend. It kind of been
So it's been
implied up to that point.
yeah,
It seems like they're steering in that direction. So yeah, any kind of development's welcomed.
it's just going to give us more good stories and further aspects and ways that things can be done, spun, and you know, ultimately to lead to hopefully a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So let's get into the boilerplate of all this. This is going to actually be the third ever Survivor Series where there isn't a traditional Survivor Series match. 1998, if y'all happen to remember, some of our audience might be younger than that, but 1998 was the Deadly Game tournament to crown a new champion. That was when The Rock beat Mankind, became WWE champion for the first time. 2002, the focus was on the Elimination Chamber. So both of those matches have survival aspects, and this one will as well. We have War Games. The only thing we're missing here is William Regal saying War Games. That's always a yeah. That's all.
War games.
War Games. We can't do it, but it's an honor to Regal when he says that. So we're missing that, but beyond that, we have a women's match and a men's match. So let's break down the women's match first, as we expect the men's match to be in the main event of the show.
I
Before we
don't
do
know what
that,
else would be.
yeah, before we do that, we were discussing last week because one of the teams had a missing member, and we broke down some names that we thought would be on there. And I'm going to speak for myself here. You can chime in and agree if you want. I feel like a blithering idiot for forgetting Becky Lynch. And we mentioned Charlotte, Naomi, and Sasha Banks. And we did not mention Becky Lynch. And clearly she is the one. And it makes the most sense. It pops the crowd. This is where she left off her storyline when she left. So do you feel as much as an idiot as I do? Because I feel like a huge idiot.
Well, I was a little surprised. I had gotten word yesterday evening, before a couple hours before SmackDown, that Becky had been there, and that she was going to be the fifth person in the match. And uh I just thought it was a little quick to bring her back. So initially I never considered her, because I figured they would really, give her some time to kind of get out of people's mind and then bring her back as that white meat baby face, and so I just thought it was a bit fast, but overall the crowd seemed jazzed. She seemed energized. She looked great. I think they knocked it out of the park. You
Yeah.
needed a big splash, and there's really only two or three women that could have done it. And the rumor is Sasha is going to be out until next year, 2023, due to some prior commitments. So that kind of eliminated her. Charlotte, I mean, she's too good as the queen to go babyface. So that kind of just left Becky. If I guess we just didn't think rationalize
And
it
yeah,
down to that point. Yeah,
and I can't understand why, because when she left, it was that situation where she was in the ring. She had just
right,
lost
right.
a hard fought match to Bianca Belair.
I
There was
was
a
at
moment of
SummerSlam.
respect. That's right. You were at that show. That's correct.
Yeah.
And there was that moment of respect before Damage Control debuted.
Well, and
And
she had legitly hurt her shoulder, so
yeah,
I didn't know how long that, if she was going to be out 6 months, 8 months. I didn't know how the
right.
severity. So, but I was just surprised that she did come back, and they did turn her seemingly so quick. Now, what could be a major potential? And this is, I've not heard anything. This is just me spitballing. What if in this match it comes down to, say, Becky and Bianca, and it's just Bailey left, and then Becky turns,
Yeah.
manhandle slams Bianca and in turns, how good would that be?
It
So
could be
I'm kind
good.
of hoping for a swerve out of it. And then, big time Bex is I want to see her and Rollins both as heels together. I think that would be awesome.
That could work. Yeah.
Big money.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see a turn if she I mean babyface Becky's huge, but I think it would be more entertaining.
Right. But talking about the crowd, and there's something about Becky, and we're gonna get to this match, I promise. Right now, Becky's on mind.
There definitely
Uh,
is.
well, and then there's that. But she carries herself like a star, better than
100%.
anyone I've seen since, and this is not an exaggeration, since The Rock. The Rock would walk out to the ring and he just carried himself like a star. He looked like a star. His basically his body language said, "Look at me, I'm a star." And Becky's the best I've seen since Rocky, and that to me, I mean, that's obviously I'm the one making the compliment, so I'm going to give myself credit and saying that's a huge compliment. But I think it is, and she just adds something, and she's got that something special. She really does.
I agree. Oozes charisma,
Yeah.
and her face has that confidence about
Mhm.
her. She can really draw you in and make you believe, and that's what it's about.
Right. So let's actually tell you what the match is here. The official names are Team Bianca and Team Bailey. Very, very highly creative names. So Team
Right.
Belair, Team Belair. Pardon me, I said Team Bianca, Team Belair. So that's made up of Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and of course now Becky Lynch. They're taking on Team Bailey, which is Damage Control, Bailey, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, along with Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. This is going to be a War Games match. Uh, Picking a winner for matches like these, they're basically coin flips. They can go either way. When you get down to the nitty gritty, you can try to pick who's going to do the fall. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. War Games is a one fall to a finish. Yes.
All five people have to be in the cage before any
Yeah,
pinfall can take
but it's
place.
only one pinfall. It's not like a
Right.
Survivor
So
Series
it's not
type elimination.
elimination style.
Yeah. So
Yes,
your
unless they
scenario,
add that,
I don't
I
think so.
don't. Yeah, I don't think that's the case. But
So your scenario that you put up of the three of them being in the ring, that could easily be done. You can have everyone else can be incapacitated and the three of them are in the ring. So we're not talking necessarily about people being eliminated and
right,
leaving the cage. We should mention that Oscar's, pardon me, Rhea Ripley defeated Oscar on Raw, which gave that team the advantage going into the match. So, yeah, a quick rundown, guys, just for those of you who've never seen a War Games match. It starts off one on one, they're all in their own cages. And then every 3 to 5 minutes, I'm not sure how they're going to
I
do
think
it,
it's
one person from one team enters. So by having the advantage, let's say Ripley and Oscar start the match, for example, when the time goes down, somebody from Ripley's team will enter the match, and it's going to be 2 on 1
for
for
2 or 3 minutes.
2 or 3 minutes. Then another person enters, and it goes back and forth. It's not snake style; it's one by one, and you're going to have a one-person advantage all the way through. Once
Right.
everyone's in the ring, that's when they call it the match beyond. That's when the match can end. So it's kind of like the Royal Rumble. The match can't end until the 30th person enters the match. Same thing here. The match can't end until all people are in. So
Correct.
I think, when it comes to pay per views, your picks are almost always influenced by how you think the rest of the card's going to go. Because you're not going to have a pay per view where the heel wins every match. You're not going to have a pay per view where the babyface wins every match. But in this match, because it's 5 on 5, anyone can take the loss without taking the fall. I am leaning, and this is a lean, and I'm convinced I could easily be wrong, but I'm going to lean toward Team Bailey in this one. I think Triple H is a decently big fan of Nikki Cross, but I know he's a big fan of Rhea Ripley, and I think one of them can pick up the pin. I'm going to go ahead and say Ripley gets the pin over Alexa Bliss. That's my pick.
I think it's a very good pick. I definitely think Rhea will get the win. She is the hottest right now as far as ratings and just I think she's the future of the women's division.
Mm-hmm.
She's supremely talented, super young, and I think this could be her time to shine and really, catapult herself into a higher class. So I'm really looking forward to this match. I hope it doesn't get too gimmicky, too many crazy spots where I hate the bowling pin spot where everybody stands around and lets somebody dive off of a cage onto them or, off the top rope to the floor
It's a little contrived sometimes.
where everybody falls at the same
Yeah.
time magically. But outside of that, I think this should be a really fun match, and just want to see carnage.
Yeah, there's gonna be some carnage. There's gonna be some carnage, and you got Io Shirai in this match, and you've got pardon me, Io Sky. I told you I'm gonna do that. You got Io Sky in this match. You got Nikki Cross, Mia Yim. These are girls that can fly a little bit, and
Right.
I think you're
Her
gonna see a
moniker.
combination of high flying and brutality, and you mentioned Rhea Ripley's age. Dominic is very young. Everyone recognizes Dominic's youth. She is like 8, 9 months older than him. That's it. She's incredibly young and she's already been through everything. Uh,
NXT Women's Champion,
yeah,
face of that
NXT UK
brand.
Women's Champion. I mean, she was
Yeah,
the first person that really came through UK and got all the way up. There's many more now. We've seen uh, Pete Dunne, which is what he was known as over there. Walter. They're now Butch and Gunta. Even
da,
Piper Niven, who became known as Dewdrop when she entered the main roster. I don't know where she's at these days, but I'm sure she's still going to reemerge. That NXT UK really brought some people through, but she was the one. Rhea Ripley was the one. And
for sure.
yeah, she can be. I mean, we're talking about the four horsewomen in WWE and Ronda Rousey, all a lot of big names here. Rhea Ripley, along with Bianca Belair, are seamlessly fitting into that ecosystem. And usually, when they give you the pinfall in war games, it's to show that you're for real or it's to give you a big boost. NXT last year, Cora Jade, very surprisingly, picked up the pinfall in that war games match, and her career is catapulted ever since. So, all right. Now we are going to head on to the main event of this show and the main event of that show, the War Games match. And I am actually super hyped for this. You got the Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch, teaming up with Drew McIntyre and Kevin Owens. Wow, what a roster. They're going to be
Right.
facing off against the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, and perhaps wrestling's biggest star right now, Sami Zayn.
He's on fire.
He's on fire. That little bit with Kevin Owens and Jey Uso last night was great. Sami has everything. He's everything you want in a wrestler and more because he can be comedic and he can be serious and he's a great worker. He's a great talker.
He's a perfect wrestler,
He is, and they've
essentially. He
missed
can
the
literally do
boat.
everything.
They've missed the boat on him for a while, and I'm gonna go ahead and blame Vince for that. Um, Obviously, he saw something and he brought him into his company. He gave him some pushes and whatnot. But
Sure.
Sami could be the top of any card. And if he's not, he can be near the top and supplement as well as anyone. It's so nice to see him achieving what he is right now. He's not the youngest anymore. I think he's getting close to 40. Doesn't look like it, of course, but he's going to be in the main event of a pay-per-view, and that's all. Even though there's 9 other guys in the match, he's going to be in that main event spot. That said, I think Sami kind of costs his team this match. I am going against the Bloodline. I hinted on it on the last show. Traditionally, whenever someone enters a pay-per-view match with big momentum, they lose. That's not always been the case, but it's been the case more often than not. All the momentum is heading in the direction of the Brawling Brutes team. I think it maintains. I think there's some kind of miscommunication or misunderstanding or some problem with Jay and Sami, and it turns into a win for the Brutes. So I think Sami takes the fall.
Well, he's
I'm
going
gonna
to.
say I'm gonna say Sheamus picks it up. I think it's too
Okay.
easy to go with Kevin Owens. I'm going to go with Sheamus. I think Sheamus looks like he might be Roman's next challenger. So I'm going to go ahead and say Sheamus pins Sammy, and that would be for me the babyface moment for the show. Send the crowd home happy. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you. I think 100% Sammy's going to lose, especially after last night on SmackDown when him and Kevin Owens were talking, and he looked at him and said, you know, you've seen what he did to Jimmy and Jay when they messed up, and they're his family, his real family. What do you think he's going to do to you when you mess up? And I think right there, if you're paying attention, that's the seed. I think Sammy's going to get pinned tonight and cause them to lose. It'll probably be, you know, something devastating, but still, he's going to get pinned. And then he's going to have to face the wrath of the tribal chief,
Yeah, I don't want to
Roman
be in that
Reigns.
spot.
And no, definitely not, because when he gets pissed, he lays it in. But I think I think Kevin Owens gave us that seed last night. I think that's the way they're going to go. So enjoy. I think the beginning of the crack in the bloodline is going to happen tonight, and you need to enjoy Sami Zayn with them as much as you can because I think they're going to start leading us to a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus Jimmy and Jay or something along those lines. But I definitely think Sammy's going to get pinned tonight and upset Roman Reigns based on Kevin Owens' story promo last night.
Right. And Steven said it perfectly. We don't think it's going to be a situation where Sammy's going to get thrown out of the bloodline as soon as this week's SmackDown. It's going to be a
Oh no,
crack. It's going to be a
yeah,
crack. And it seems like Triple H is enjoying the slow burn storyline, which is my favorite. You know, Steven called me an author, and that's true. And I have written a lot of material in the past, and the slow burn's my favorite.
available.
Yeah, Amazon.com.
That's right.
Well, we'll discuss that another time. But
Cheap plug.
right, and and it might be Sammy who takes the fall. It might be Sammy who causes Jay to take the fall. It's going to be something like that.
It's going to be
And
Sammy's fault regardless,
yeah,
I
it's going to
feel
be
like.
Sammy's fault, or it may even be the perception that it's his
Right.
fault. Either way, it's going to be however they want to tell the story. If it comes out that tension has arisen or tension has been reignited, then however they tell it and they get us to that point, it's going to be fine. But it's tough. It's really tough. It's incredibly tough to pick against the bloodline in any scenario, especially in a pay-per-view
Yeah,
main event. But we're doing it, folks. We're doing the hot take here. We're not doing it for the sake
absolutely.
of doing it. We believe it.
No, I agree 100%. Up until well, technically this morning at about 4:35 a.m. when I was catching SmackDown after working, I was going to pick the bloodline. Full, you know, I had done wrote it down and had my, you know, on my card here who I thought was going to win. I was going to go with them for sure, but then after seeing that promo, I'm like, you know, why would he have went with that specific example unless Sammy's going to be put into that, you know?
Right.
So that's where I'm at on it. I'm super excited for it though.
Yeah.
I think
I
it's
think that's going to be a burner.
they're gonna tear the house down. Those 10 guys.
Yeah. All right. So that's our Survivor Series preview. God, we look
War
forward to hearing
games.
any. Yeah, right. We need to find somebody British for that.
You need to find a clip of it and just insert it every time we said war games. Just insert William Regal.
Yeah. If I wasn't scared of copyright, I might.
Right. We'll send him a few bucks.
Right.
No.
But that's our preview of Survivor Series. We will be back for a normal start time Tuesday. We're gonna kick off the show as we do anytime a pay-per-view is in the books. We're gonna review it. We're gonna take a look at the rest of the wrestling world. There's gonna be a lot of college football, NFL coverage to look at that point, I'm sure as well. So, but for today, we're gonna call it a show. I greatly appreciate all of you for being here with us today, whether you're on Spotify, YouTube, or both. Please feel free to comment. Please feel free to like this video, share it on YouTube. Please feel free to subscribe to our channel. Steven, any last words on our way out the door?
Yeah, and just give us a follow on Twitter at Catching Flies W1 on Twitter. That's at Catching Flies W1, spelled the correct way and everything. Nothing funny. Find us on Twitter. Give us a follow. I always post the new shows or anything pertinent to this show on there and on our Facebooks. Greatly appreciate it. We love doing these. We're, huge wrestling fans, huge football fans, just trying to have a little fun with everybody on a Saturday. Hope you have a great weekend. In closing, I just wanted to say again, Konnan, we love you. We appreciate everything you've done for us, from the NWO to the AAA stuff, and still in the business today as AAA's booker. You've meant a lot to a lot of people. I've, talked to you to Konnan several times through Patreon. Highly recommend keeping it 100 to anybody out there who wants real talk. They are incredible. He's a very, very good guy, and just really wish him the best. And you'll have our thoughts and prayers. And some wrestling fan out there that lives close to San Diego, give him a kidney. You got two.
You got
Come
two,
on.
darn it. Yeah, Konnan's been a great friend to us. I don't know him nearly as well as Steven does. I've exchanged a couple of emails with him. It doesn't take long to figure out what a genius dude is. So, Konnan, you are definitely in our thoughts.
Yeah,
You are anyway, but even in these tougher times, Bubba, we know that you're as tough as they come. As Jim Ross used to say, tougher than a $2 steak, Bubba. So I'm gonna go ahead and give you $1.50 steak. That's how tough you are, Bubba. So pull on through, like Steven said. We need you. We need the wrestling world needs you.
Definitely. Him and Disco are two of the very, very best. And since episode 1 for us, a no name podcast that's trying to up and start. Konnan was nice enough to retweet us. Keeping It 100 has retweeted our episode. JF Feeney Joe, producer, incredible guy. They couldn't be better people. Just really wish him the best and hope he pulls through. And what better way to close than Olale! Aliva la raza!
That was pretty darn good. All right. Again, folks, thank you so much for listening. On behalf of Stephen Burton, this is Pete McCottas. We're going to sign off on our special Saturday episode. We will see you on Tuesday. Enjoy the Survivor Series. Thank you.